Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Are you in an anti-DEI echo chamber, right? And even asking the question, is that triggering you? Now, before we begin, let me first establish this, because, some people that never heard me say anything about this subject or are not familiar with my channel might get the wrong idea. I am not in favor of DEI, right? I'm a full-on capitalist. I don't like communism. I don't like socialism. I'm a libertarian at heart, right? I'm liberal in a lot of personal social issues, and I'm more conservative on the fiscal side of it. I'm an independent person, right? I'm an objectivist at heart, probably. That's the best way to describe me. I follow where reason is. I follow what the data is. And whenever you start reading a lot of this stuff, and you look at this battle that's going on of Assassin's Creed, of both point of views, right? You have the activist journalists, right? The people that are not journalists, they call themselves journalists, but they're not. They're activists. They're trying to convince people of a certain point of view. They don't agree with the capitalist system that we have here in the U.S., and they're trying to demolish it. That's their stated goals of many of them, right? They want to blow up the video game industry as we see it. And on the other side, we have more traditional people. Let's call them capitalists. Let's call them, right-leaning people, whatever you want to call them here on YouTube. And the one thing that people that are against DEI, which I'm not in favor of, okay? I'm in favor of the individual. Whoever's most qualified should get the job. If you're getting surgery, for example, I want the best doctor. I don't care that he speaks Spanish. I don't care if he's Hispanic, just so you can talk to me in Spanish. I want the best doctor. I don't care if he's Chinese, black, Malaysian. I don't care what he is. As long as he's the best qualified person for the job, that's who I want, cutting me up, because I know they're going to do a good job, right? That's what I believe in general when it comes to work. But when it comes to this, right? If you take a look at this story of what we're talking about, right, and without prejudice, right, if we just narrate what's going on here, this is a video game story, right? This is a video game story that's being told by a company who's not delivering what the customer wanted, right? They wanted an Assassin's Creed in Japan. They just didn't want this story, right? And because of this, the controversy has developed. But what is the story? The story is about a historical character, right? An African man. And the story's been embellished to make him seem like a samurai warrior. Historical figure, of course. But the story's been embellished, it's been changed, right? The narrative is not actually what happened. And the gentleman is from Africa. Now, here's the question that I'm going to ask you that I don't see asked in any of these channels, right, that I've seen, shortly. I haven't had that much time to watch them, but this is never the question. This is my question to you. If all things were the same, if we were talking about, I don't know, a blue-eyed, blonde-haired German guy, right, he was a samurai, would we have the same amount of videos? If you can't answer that question, right? Will we have the same amount of controversy? Would we have the same amount of YouTubers talking the way they're talking? Right? And if you say yes, right, that's how you know you're in an echo chamber, because you're full of shit. Nobody would believe you. The fact that the man is from Africa is a major factor, right? Because of people's perception, especially in this era. I bet you 90% of the people didn't even know that there was a black man in Japan in those times. Whether or not the story is embellished, they just didn't know about it. Probably some of them thought it was fake when they first saw it. Now, this is aside from all the mishaps that the company's done. Now, again, I'm not for DEI, right? I'm for reason. I'm for the individual. I'm for you thinking. The whole purpose of these videos is entertainment, of course. but to make you think, just not to be part of a pack and follow everything that everybody says. You look at these videos, they're literally repeating the same things over and over again. One guy makes a video, makes a great point, that's his video, original video. Second guy comes and says basically the same thing, maybe in a different accent. He's from a different part of the US, whatever. But just, it's the same video. In the live streams, it's the same narrative. And I think if you live here in America, right, and you know people's nature, or you're from Japan, especially if you're from Asia, you damn well know that you wouldn't get this type of controversy. How would I even deduce this? Because it's been done before. There's actually been race swapping. There's no race swapping here. The man was in Japan in those times, and you know, he's a black gentleman. He just didn't do the things that they're claiming in this video game. But is he the only historical figure whose story's been embellished in history? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's many people of European descent whose stories have been really embellished and taught as history. Right? So is that the argument? Is that the argument that people are making here? No. You know, and to say that these YouTubers or YouTube or you know, whoever's covering the story would have covered it the same way if we were talking about a white, you know, German guy that's in Japan, the answer would be no, right? And it's more than just America. It's just more than America, because if, you know, a lot of people say, you know, America's the most racist country, right? Especially the social justice warriors, you know, the people who believe in DEI will say that. They have no clue. They really don't. They've never traveled anywhere. You know, if you've traveled, you know that America is one of the least racist places in the world, right? You couldn't get away with the crap people get away with, right? I won't speak to anybody else. I'll speak for things that I've seen in my communities, right? Growing up here in Southern California, in East Los Angeles, in the barrios and stuff. If people did what they do here in the U.S., being from a different race in another country, they'd put you in jail faster than you can say anything. And you would feel the racism. They're not going to sugarcoat it. There's not going to be any hidden agendas. They're going to tell you what's up right away. There's certain races that are not liked in Japan, in China, in other parts of the world, South America, and they are not at all shy telling you that they don't like them. Whether it's, you know, one color or another, right? But there's places that don't talk about this stuff. There's YouTubers that are not talking about this, right? You know who doesn't care about this? In general, right? Not all Latin American countries, but you're not going to see Latin American countries have a debate about this. Why? Let me give you an example in Mexico. In Mexico, you have Asian people and you have black people. They don't care. They really couldn't give a shit, because you can be of any race and still be Latino, right? It doesn't, you know, we don't see it the way you specifically see it, right? Especially if you're a first generation Hispanic, you just don't. It's not that big of a deal. But for other people, it is. But when you ask the question, and this is the purpose of this exercise, are you in an echo chamber? Are you just repeating the same shit that you've heard? Have you actually taken a look at this? And I'm not telling you that I'm right. What the whole point of this exercise is for you not to be in an echo chamber and be an individual thinker. Think of any problem. I'm not defending Ubisoft. I'm not saying that they're completely right in their marketing. You know, they've done tons of stupid shit in their marketing. But some of this criticism that is labeled of the opposition, right? People who endorse DEI, some of the same behavior is being shown here on the people that are for DEI. This echo chamber, everybody agrees. So I'm asking this question in order to make you uncomfortable. So you're not part of an echo chamber. So you actually analyze it, just not nod your heads and, you know, and agree with whoever's streaming. Yeah, you know, it's all DEI, it's all this and that and the other. Because in your heart of hearts, you know that if this was a white character, it wouldn't be the same. You wouldn't see the same amount of videos. The narrative would be totally different, right? And that, I ask you, right? You're the public out there. You guys are consuming these videos. Do you think that your favorite YouTuber, you can name them, I don't care, I don't watch all these channels, right? Would they cover the story differently if it was a white samurai? And I'm telling you that it wouldn't have the same coverage, because it's happened before. Many Asian characters have been race swapped before, and that's not what's taking place here. This character actually existed, but you've had characters that have been race swapped for white characters, and you heard very, very little about it. Very little. Nobody said shit. Right? It's happened in TV, movies, all this other stuff. It's not as big of a deal. And to say that the race plays no part in a lot of this, what's going on, I think would be disingenuous. Now, the reasons, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's all racism. Again, a lot of it has to do with education, not knowing history, right? Not knowing that it's just embellishment. Is this company getting the right amount of hate from people, from their customers? The customers expected one thing because of the Easter eggs, for example, that they dropped. I can't remember if it was a first, second game saying, oh, there's going to be one in feudal Japan or whatever, or hints that the company drop over time, and then when they deliver is something that the public wasn't expecting, then you got a problem. People want choice. People deserve what they want. The customer's always right. Those kind of things. And I don't see things the way a lot of the anti-DEI crowd sees it. Let me tell you, I believe in the free market. Does Ubisoft have the right to make this game and completely burn their company with all this, equity and inclusion, things that the public doesn't want? They have every right to make it, guys. Every time they make a game and fail, that's another opportunity for another company to make a game that you love. That's how the evolution of gaming works. Somebody screws up. Somebody made E.T., right? We needed that failure with E.T. in order for Nintendo to exist, right? Think of the biggest failures in gaming. Do you think Concord is going to happen again? Hell no. Not to the tune of $400 million, but that had to happen, right? These failures have to happen in order for the industry to advance, in my opinion, right? You see it in every business, right? Remember New Coke, when Coca-Cola changed their formula? Nobody wanted that. Nobody asked for that, and they failed. They learned their lesson real quick. And this is the case here. But the biggest question here is, are you in an echo chamber? Are you in the same situation that you're accusing all these other woke people of? That's the danger here, guys. Because you might think that you're right, but if you're doing the same things as the people that you oppose are, then you're just the same. If you really want to be the opposite of people who promote DEI, that promote these agendas, the woke journalists, as people call them, the activist journalists, then you have to be an independent, free thinker and analyze everything on its own. Now, if you just want to enjoy videos and talk smack, you go ahead and do that, right? But I don't like being part of groups. In general, that's just not me, right? I'm kind of a person who likes to look at every single situation on its own and then draw conclusions from there. If we agree, great. If we don't agree, you're probably going to teach me something that I haven't seen or something that I don't know. But this whole notion that the anti-DEI people are this one big mass of people and they all agree in everything, I think it's just the vocal ones. I think people out there just asking you this question, would it be the same if that character was white? I think everybody knows the answer is no. It would be a lot different. Now, how your favorite YouTuber, and you're free to comment, whatever YouTuber you think wouldn't be talking about this shit if it was a white one, right? That's up to you. But you and I and everybody else knows that if this was a white character, it wouldn't have the same impact. And if that is triggering you, good, because it's supposed to. Be a free thinker. Don't follow the crowd. All right, humans, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click that notification bell, and remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.